And are you refreshed? Now what?
All right, this is the question.
We think you know the answer.
Yeah, well,
You all do, don't you?
I guess for me, I've been talking to a lot of people, and this is about Donald Trump, just so.
Does he create your own reality?
Do I create my own reality?
Does he create
He's
your
a very
reality?
powerful creator, and there's no doubt about it.
That wasn't our question. Our question
yes.
is, does he create your reality?
No. How did I manifest myself into this reality then? That's not to be snarky or anything. A lot of people in the Abraham community, in the spiritual community, are really, everybody's tossed around this week.
Because you've given your power over to the results of something that you can't control?
Right.
It's a condition that needed to be different than it is in order for you to feel good, which sort of means we haven't been very effective in what we teach.
This is the greater point. I think for me personally, I pay attention to the what is a lot, but I also know I create my own reality.
Paying attention to what is good. It helps you to create a vortex.
Right.
Is your vortex still alive?
Yes.
Is it more alive than it ever has been? Do you think that collectively speaking, there is more desire there than has ever been there on topics that you never expected a presidential campaign to put there?
Yes, and I do believe and I do know that this energy right now is causing a huge swelling of energy towards the good.
We are going to let you talk. We
Okay.
really
No,
want
no,
you to.
no,
We
it's
really
fine.
want you to.
Don't worry about it.
But we do want to get some sort of basic points established, and the most significant one is contrast a good thing or not?
Yeah.
So contrast is necessary for you even to decide what you want. So is this about what you have now decided that you want, which you now can get on your way to creating, or is it about having believed that you had a desire that didn't come to manifestation yet? Is your vortex finished?
No, and I do think that a lot of the disappointment a lot of people are feeling, including myself, are, I'm a crappy creator because, geez, I was literally in San Francisco at the Democratic headquarters on Tuesday night, and I was there believing, and I was like, this is cinched. It's like, it's going to happen. And then when it didn't, it was just such a shell shock. I guess for me, it's this thing of, how did I have this much belief so confidently?
Maybe you were believing in a vortex that is still in the state of unfolding. Maybe you were believing in eternity. Maybe you were believing in your own desires for yourself still being valid. Maybe you were believing that your point of attraction still counts for you. Maybe at that point you weren't putting what happens to you next off on some outcome.
Right. And I understand that. I know. I know this stuff too, but it's just for me, it's frustrating, I guess.
This is what we were talking about earlier. One day, someone in a gathering, listening to us, it was some weeks ago, left and asked for his money back because he thought Abraham was advocating for Trump. And right before that, someone left because they thought that we were advocating for. Esther's laughing because she knows that we are not advocating for anything specific. We are advocating for your understanding of how you create your own reality. And we don't want to seem unpatriotic while we are. Because we understand that your point of attraction, while it can be influenced by outcomes, especially outcomes that a lot of people are focused upon, it does not need to be that. But we also understand that if you have the opportunity to talk to infinite intelligence,
Right, and I am right now.
and you could ask, what's the most significant thing that you want to know that has just been recently activated, aggravated, or maybe even created within you? What new powerful question do you have? Because you started out with one that we know you didn't mean. Do I really create my own reality? Because if I do, I wouldn't have created that. And then it's the question that our friend asked a little bit ago, but if there are other people that are intending, then whose reality gets to be the one that's created?
Well, I think that's the thing, is like so many of us, I have this belief, but it's also, here's the thing. There were two candidates. And in this general spiritual community, or people who create their own reality, we tend to lean more towards love, or thoughts of love towards one another. And even though the country was 50-50 or more 50-50, the world generally was leaning one direction, more towards love. And I think that's why we're a little shell-shocked.
But here's the thing. There was not a lot of love being demonstrated by either candidate or by the media. And some years ago, Esther was watching a television commercial, and it was about medical stuff. And she was very upset by it, and she said, don't they know they're promoting illness? And we said, Esther, don't be hard on the medical community, because it has risen in response to the asking of the masses. And so your political arena is that way too. So if you really want to understand what happened in a way that will maybe soothe you and maybe won't, because usually we speak in terms of laws and all of that stuff that you want to roll your eyes and say blah blah blah. We've heard about the vortex enough damn times, Abraham. Now we want to talk about something that is more specific. So here is an answer that's closer to what you're reaching for in explaining what has happened. And this is something that almost nobody really understands. While you may be a nation or a world, really, but let's keep it to one thing at a time here. While you appear to be a nation who has a lot of different views on a lot of different things, you keep wanting to come together in groups because you believe that's where your power is. So the first thing that is happening to you as individuals is that you're not really believing in your own personal power. You want to join a group so that you'll have more power, and that is not ever going to serve you very well, because you cannot control the dynamics of the group, and because often the group, no matter how much you lean in the direction of it, it really does not represent you well. So then you take a subject like kindness or love, and you say, well, at least most of us can agree about that. And it's not just those that you think are part of the community that you are part. Everyone really wants that. There is not anyone that is really advocating for hate. Sometimes they just get swept up in it and they don't know what to do about it when it's sweeping them over. But no one is really consciously or deliberately asking for that. But here's something that you may not have considered, even though we talk about it all the time. Everyone is personally selfish. You have to start there, and we're asking you to accept it just for a moment, because you cannot see other than through the eyes of self. So let's say that instead of being a part of the very small percentage that comes to a gathering like this, who is coming to believe that you create your own reality, let's say that you are part of a much larger group of more than 99% of the population who does not know that you create your own reality, who still believes that somebody else is going to create it, and it's either going to be that one or that one. Now, that in and of itself is a pretty disempowering state of being. In other words, we wouldn't want to be in either of those political parties who believe that it's going to depend on this squabbling bunch of people who can't even get together to agree on anything, not during the last 4 years, not in the 4 years before that, not in the 4 years before that, not really ever. So if you've come to believe that your well-being depends upon what they are going to agree on, and they have made it very clear to you that they have no intention of ever agreeing with each other ever, even if somebody over there has a good idea, we're still not going to agree with it, because we would rather be right than agreeable or than feel good. So now we don't want to get too carried away with that. Let's get back to this premise that really will serve you. So if everyone really is selfishly oriented, and everyone is, which means as you live life, when things touch you, you know what you don't want, which causes you to know what you do want. But if you don't know about law of attraction, if you've not been listening to us for a while, if you don't realize that you've created this vortex, so you don't have hope because there is a vibrational reality even while your current reality is not pleasing you, then your needs become sort of paramount in your mind. And every now and again, a really good salesman will enter your midst who understands how to influence you toward something that is important to him. So if you are a coal miner who is not working, you want work more than anything. That's your selfish interest. And people can stand and say, but wait, there are other things that should be more important to you than the thing that you're selfishly interested in. Or if you're a steel worker, or if you used to make a lot of money and now you're not making very much money, or if you are afraid that you are on the wrong side of the law relative to this or relative to this, a really good salesman is very good at understanding how to inspire you to see him as the solution. So this conversation is about a population that was feeling so much personal, selfish, out of controlness, with no options other than this one or this one. And so it is logical that the one that is speaking directly to their selfish interest would be the one who would get their ear. Right. Isn't it?
I love her, but he's a much more direct speaker, and he does speak. I mean, I just know.
Spoke directly to those needs over and over and over again, so loudly and so clearly that the lack of kindness was overlooked, the lack of dignity was overlooked, the lack of decorum was overlooked, because my selfish interests were at least being listened to. Now, this is not a conversation about why we think that what happened was a good thing. That's not what we're saying at all. We're saying law of attraction never gets it wrong. We're saying that what's being offered vibrationally is always what is the current outcome. But the current outcome is also the bouncing off place for so much that is so much better. And so it is our desire that anyone that's focused upon this with any sincere, and we know you have sincere concern, and there are a lot of people that are feeling sincere concern about this. It is our desire that you just get a little whiff of this. It makes no difference who thinks they are in control of you. They aren't. We would like you to get a little whiff of this. The balance of your vibrational mass consciousness is of such balance that it is your strength, not your weakness. Your diversity is your greatest asset. But no matter which side of any issue most people stand on, they don't think that the people on the other side of that balance are adding any value. They only think that the value is added by their perspective, but that value is added by all of the perspective. And out of it, billions of people are sifting and sorting and launching vibrational rockets of desire. And it is our promise to you that the sources within all of you are hearing you, feeling you, knowing, and standing in the middle of the vortex, and that life just gets better and better and better. And those who want to explain that life isn't getting better don't understand. They have a very narrow view. Or those that want to persuade you to move in one direction or another because they've convinced you that if you don't go their way, it won't be better, don't know what they're talking about. You've listened to us for a long time. We know that you've heard us say, because we say it often and we mean it most of all, that whatever it is that you're offering vibrationally is what is coming back to you. And whatever's coming back to you is giving you a bouncing off place for your next decision. And that you can't get it wrong and you never get it done. And the reason you can't get it wrong is because it's never done. When we say to you that it is the vibrational basis of diversity that is the reason for not just our longevity, all of us, but our eternalness, then if you could feel what your inner beings are feeling, you would understand that when we talk about the leverage of connecting to that vortex or to that getting into the receptive mode, when you tap into that leverage where you have connected to your true power, then you, for the time that you're doing it, and we want you to master it, you begin to feel invincible. And when you feel invincible, meaning you've connected to your own power, and you know that your destiny is of your own making, and all of that fear leaves you because you can't be connected to all of that power and feel fear at the same time, then you are living happily ever after. You're not looking around the world for others to join you in groups in order to shore up your insecurity, because there is no insecurity, you see. And that is the greatest gift that this particular upheavalish conversation can give to all of you. If you can recover from this and feel more empowered, then what you've asked for in your vortex has been answered. Oh, Abraham, I don't think I asked for that. Abraham, are you saying that I wanted my sense of empowerment so much that I asked for uncontrollable upheaval that I couldn't control, that I asked for conditions that could not soothe me?
I've had to have this conversation with myself many times this week, and that's what I've personally have come to is like, I woke up Wednesday morning and I was like, the thing you were fearing the most happened. So the only thing I have right now is to go back to lining up again.
So when you say the thing I feared the most happened, are you talking about I focused upon something so fervently that I for quite a long period of time lost my connection to my resources and source? Is that what you were referring to? The worst possible thing that could happen?
I thought I wasn't.
That's the only bad thing that can happen to you, is that you can temporarily use some bogus thing as your reason for not knowing your power. And when you don't know your power, then you give it to somebody else. And there are plenty of others that would like to say, I'll take your power from you. I'll take your power. I'll let you believe that I'm the most important thing in the world to you. And the wonderful thing, we are patriotic actually, because the wonderful thing about this system of government that you've got going on here is that it is so balanced in terms of diversity that nobody really gets in your way that much. And what's worrying you is that you think that, oh, now more people are going to be in the way of what I want. And we say, they've not been giving you what you want anyway. They haven't been giving you what you want anyway. It doesn't matter which one of them, which group is in power. They're not ever the vortex through which your good comes, but they are often the subject by which you deny your own vortex. And so it doesn't matter which group is in, if it doesn't please you, and half are pleased and half are not pleased. So the half that's not pleased is now using that group as their excuse that they are pinching themselves off from their own resources. And if we were standing in your physical shoes, there would be no one that we would let pinch us off from our own resources. You have a vibrational cache that you have access to at all times. That's the only disempowerment that can ever come to you, to use anything as your excuse not to tap into that.
So I should turn off CNN and the Washington Post.
The media is no different. The media is no different because they want your attention. It's a really known thing about you that if someone is showing you how to feel good, while you might gravitate to it, if someone is warning you about something that could cause you trouble, you're more likely to look at that. That's why the direction of so many things.
And I do really understand the energy of this thing. And I think what I see is a lot of people, especially within the community here, are trying to figure out to use this energy to inspired action. So are they standing in the right place to...
Before you go too far, come back with that question in a moment.
Okay.
Let's put this basis down first. So if you have been watching any of the news outlets, and it really doesn't matter which of them you're watching, some of them are leaning one way, some of them are leaning another way. Esther was trying to watch a little bit of all of them just to see what all the leanings were and to try to find out if she could find a clear thought of her own in the mix of all of it. So let's say that you were watching a particular leaning news organization, and what they were saying was rather soothing to you because it agreed with you, and you could hardly stand to watch the other because what they said didn't soothe you, so you wanted to watch what soothed you. That's a pretty good idea, to watch what's soothing you. So you watch them and you listen to them, and you come to believe that they're on your side for making the world a better place. That's what you want to believe. They're on my side to make the world a better place. And they are saying the things that need to be heard, and they're saying them in the way that I most like hearing them. And so this is a soothing thing that's happening there. And then the outcome comes, and it's not the outcome that you wanted or that you thought they wanted. Because you thought, we're using your words here, you thought that you were on the soothing side of things. You thought you were on the side of love and soothing and kindness and well-being. And yet now the same news organization is still trying to stir things up. They're not doing what they were asking the other group to do. They wanted the other group to just accept the inevitable thing that they thought was coming, but they're not accepting the inevitable thing. And we love them all so much because they are personally, selfishly motivated too. So you thought that they were about love and kindness, but they're not trying to soothe you. They're trying to irritate you further. They're not letting those issues that were so troubling die. They're keeping those issues alive too. And so as long as anyone is listening to someone pointing out the discord, as long as anyone is offering you something to push against, and as long as you are taking the influence and you are pushing against it, then you are being influenced by them rather than by your own inner being. You're letting that be your guidance, and you can never get back into vibrational alignment with who you are as long as you're looking for something outside of you to be the reason that you feel better. Can't watch this, it makes me feel bad. Watch that, makes me feel better. Now I'm dependent upon this to make me feel better. But you can't count on them to always make you feel better. You can't count on anything outside of yourself to cause you to feel better. And that's why we feel that this was such a wonderful experience for so many of you, because you're going to come away from it understanding something that we've been talking about for a while from your own point of view, because words don't teach, that to live a conditional life is a rough life. To need conditions to be a certain way, you have the ability to focus your mind in a way that you are in harmony with who you are, so that you have all of your power and all of your resources flowing through you. But if you think for a moment that you're getting any of that power and any of those resources from either of those political parties, then you're in for a lifetime of upheaval. Sometimes you'll just feel a little less bad than others, but you will never really feel your own empowerment, you see.
I know from a pure reality creation standpoint, we should pretty much lock ourselves away from things and try to be in alignment. Here's the thing. When I watch CNN or check into the Washington Post or any news organization, I know I'm adding things that can cause wobble in my own experience. But I also think, well, this is part of I try to stay in alignment while viewing these things. And I do see that this is going to better us
watching
overall.
Anything, we are not for a moment asking you to put your head in a hole. We're not asking you to get into a room and not go out, because life experience is what causes you to put things into your vortex. We just happen to know what's in your vortex, and we're just encouraging you to move in the direction of what's in your vortex. And that conversation that you're having out there and the attention that you're giving out there is preventing you from doing that. So we're asking all of you some questions. Do you have a vibrational reality? And do you think that it is maybe more poignantly focused now than it has been in a while? And does that therefore mean that there's more momentum going toward the things that you care about? And if that is true, if there's more momentum going toward the things that you care about and you feel terrible, then that must mean you're not going with the momentum. That must mean you're standing in opposition to the very things that you're asking for. It's like we asked our friend a little bit ago about the relationship that he was wanting to have with a person. We're asking him, is this the wrong outcome? Is this thing that you think you want not a vibrational match to you? Are you not a vibrational match to your own vortex? And this is the same question, isn't it?
I mean, you're right, Abraham. I know this, but
everything that we've offered through all the years that Esther's allowed us to flow through her have been to help you to come into vibrational alignment with your true desires. And this is what the confusion is right now, because your true desire is not what you think it is. You thought your true desire was this over that, but through that process you've put so many desires. So let's talk about the desire for kindness. Do you think that that's at a higher place than before?
I'm hoping so.
Well, we're asking you to use your logic.
Yeah, yes.
When you felt what happened to yourself, don't you think that you're asking for it in a stronger way? We're just going to speak for a little bit about what's in your vortex. We're talking about you collectively as a nation. collectively as a world consciousness. What's in your vortex now that was not there prior to this? So what's there now? What beneficial, focused, pointed desires are now attracting the attention of source that were not so poignantly doing so before? So we're going to speak with one voice, but it's a collective consciousness voice, and we're going to put it in the words of I, because we want you to understand that it's coming from your point of view, from your human physical point of view. I want to be happy. I want to feel good. I want to feel lighthearted and uplifted. I want to know that all is well. I want to thrive in my environment, and I want those around me to thrive too. We leaned it too hard, too fast in the direction of your inner being, which you may not be a vibrational match to, so you may not be able to feel the resonance. So we're going to step back from the generalities that your inner being is feeling so strongly, and we're going to address more specifically the I wants from your human perspective, as your vortex is just now pulsing in a stronger way. I want a safe world. I want a world where those following us in, our children and their children, can feel playful and eager about their life experience. I want more people to feel better, because I want more people to be nicer. I want more people to feel more stable, and I want fewer people to feel threatened. I want more humanity. I want softer and gentler. I want things to be better for more people. I want to personally thrive. I want those around me to personally thrive. I want a robust economy. I want to be part of a robust economy. I want everybody who wants to be part of a robust economy to be part of a robust economy. I want to make more money. I want to have more freedom. I want to experience more fun. I want to feel my stability. I want to sense the ease in my community. I want there to be more getting along in my house, in my town. I want to feel better. I want to be happy. I want to feel safer. I want to feel more sure. I want to move around the world and to gravitate with others who feel as I feel. I want to be consciously aware of the way law of attraction is already matching us up. I want to feel appreciation for everyone, no matter what side of my issues they are on. I want to understand the value that they brought to the equation. I want them to understand that I could not know who I am and how much I want this if they didn't know who they are and how much they want that. I want to resonate with the true balance of this time-space reality. I want to step back into the understanding that I had when I eagerly made the decision to come. I want thriving, not just mine, but everyone. I don't want to be a thriver in an economy that's weak. I want to be a thriver in an economy where others are thriving too. I want people to step up to who they really are. I want people to come back out into the light. I want the happy-hearted to step forward and be the voices that I'm hearing the most of. I want to be such a vibrational match to that myself that law of attraction can only yield mostly that to me. I want to feel good no matter what. I want to understand that things are always working out for me. But I don't want to just say things are working out for me and not for you. I want to know that things are working out for me's, for all of us me's. I don't just want my happiness. I want the happiness of others. And I don't want to divvy out my happiness only to those who agree with me on this or this or this. I would like happiness to go to all of them. I would like all of them to feel happy no matter who they voted for. I would like all of them to feel empowered no matter what. I would like everyone to know that things are always working out for all of us. I would like everyone to understand that there's a greater power, that there's a greater source, that the vortex is more magnificent and bigger and more powerful than all of this put together over all of the eons of all of the years, because it has been born out of all these conflicts. I want to trust my ability to focus in alignment with who I really am. I want to infuse myself with the resources of the non-physical energy. I want to refresh and find the resources that are always offered to me. I want to recognize my own power to hook myself into this current or to deprive myself of it. And I want to give everyone the benefit of the doubt and give no one the power. I'm not ever going to say to anyone, and certainly not to myself, that you or anyone has the power to take me outside of this. I believe in the well-being of this time-space reality. I know that there is no regression. I know for sure that there is no going back. I know that whatever we think we just lived through, we put more in the vortex and we are all better for it. And for that, I'm appreciative of everyone who contributed to whatever posture that they took that caused all of this to be in the vortex. I now understand that there's more in the vortex that will serve generations to come than has ever been before. This particular political election put more there than the last 50 elections have put there. There's more power in the vortex. We have a greater opportunity now to live as peaceful beings on this planet, not just in this nation, than ever before, because we've asked with stronger, and this is what we really want you to hear, stronger, more personal fervor. More personal fervor. We are asking more sincerely from our personal perspective, which means our vortex is pulsing in a way for me individually than it has ever pulsed before. And now with what I know about source energy, with what I know about the collective consciousness, with what I know about source energy focused upon all of those requests, I know now that there is a current for well-being that is a stronger flow than it has ever been before, which means it will be easier for people to find here and there the flow of love. This will all die down. The drums that are beating in terms of hatred and division, they will die down simply because the physical mind does not have the capacity to hold yourself against the current that is natural to you. And that's the thing that was hurting your heart the most. That's the thing that bothered you the most. You have entered into a flawed premise. You've taken this flawed premise from this experience. You took from this experience this flawed premise. There are more mean, hateful people than I ever knew were running around. And we say, that's a flawed premise. There are more selfishly desirous of feeling good people running around than you've ever known before. There are more people who want to be in their own vortex than have ever been running around before. There is more capacity. There is more opportunity. The energy is flowing faster. The pull this way is stronger. For the first time in all of the years that we have been talking to any of you, the pull toward who you are is stronger than your ability to hold it away. This is a turning point. And as numbers of you accept the turning point and praise everything that brought it about, rather than stand in the attitude of condemnation, then you will begin immediately to experience the rewards, the benefit, the blessings, the raining down of what's been in your vortex all along. This is a breakthrough experience for all of you.
That's awesome. That's so awesome.
Enough?
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
We're
so
happy
much.
that you were brave enough to stir it up.